welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs Creating OMG Moments. I am so excited today because we have someone who is going to teach you how to differentiate. So it's going to be a fun conversation because I think this is one of the things that I know so many of you struggle with. How do you differentiate yourself, right? And so he is the expert on this coming to us. Barry, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started in this.
Well, I'll tell you, I appreciate it, Tami. I've been a creative person for most of my life. So I started out in music as a young kid in my early teens in a rock band with my brother, and that grew into being in rock bands with a bunch of other guys and having a few songs that were successful. And it really helped guide me to running a small business, because a band is actually a small business. And then producing product. Well, producing product is, songs, writing songs, let's say. And customer experience has a lot to do in a band with how well you play and how the audience likes you. So I've learned all of this, and it drove me to starting my own company and ultimately writing a few books, as well as the book that I just released that's called The Power of Differentiation.
Congratulations. I know that's a big OMG moment, just getting your book out and publishing that out to the world is a big step. Is there another OMG moment that you've had along your journey that you want to share?
Yeah, I have one that I thought was pretty applicable for the audience. I had started out in a band, but at the same time I was writing jingles, those irritating little ditties that you hear on the radio. So I had a little company, two or three people in the band, as well as two or three people in my company. Different people, but two little things I was doing, the band and my company. And my father, at the age of 63, became very ill and passed away. And at that point, I was in my late 20s. The OMG moment was, okay, what do I do? I'm not going to live forever. My dad just passed away. I got to stop assuming that I don't have to really grow up. So I decided at that point I needed to pick one path. I surprised myself and I picked the path to run a business. I thought, maybe I'm selling out, but it wasn't. I wanted to do something that I thought was somewhat fair. Whereas in business, if you really work hard and you do a really good job, you'll probably be successful. And that's what I did. I pursued that. What happened, this is the second part of the OMG moment, is about a year later, one of my clients that I've been doing some music work for, some jingles and some other things, came to me and said, I want you to take over our marketing at our company. And this is a pretty major company. And I said, well, I don't really do marketing, I do music. I said, but here are some agencies and other people you can talk to. Well, they kept coming back to me and coming back to me. And finally, after a year, the client called me again and said, look, we want you to take our marketing on. We will give you a 3-year agreement where you get all of our marketing. We want you to do it. And I said, I've been giving you the names of other companies, of agencies. Why do you keep coming back to me? And he said, because we trust you. I went, ooh, okay. So I said, yes. Now that was an OMG moment because I then became a company that did advertising, marketing, websites, videos, etc. And I had not been doing those things. And it was a leap of faith. And what I did not realize at the time was most of my clients were also agencies, because they'd hire me to do these musical ditties. And they all, one by one, told me, hey, we're no longer going to work with you because you're now a competitor. So I lost all my clients that I had previously, but this company became a long-term client for over 10 years until they more or less moved out of our area. And it launched my business, which is doing marketing, communications, and training.
I love that. I love that you took the leap, and I think there's a few key things that you talked about in this. One, it wasn't like the initial question that they brought to you and said, will you do this? You're like, nope, I'm on this one path. I don't want to switch paths. And so you took the time to really think about it and understand, is this where you want to go? But also, this is one of the things that I think we all see in business. Your clients start to see what you're good at and that trust that you built with them. And they're like, we want you to do this. And so they start coming to you saying, can you help me with this other thing? And that helps lead the direction of your business. I think that happens to pretty much every business that's out there. We don't end up in the same direction as when you started.
You're exactly right. And I think that the people I know that are really talented, but never really took advantage of their success and their talent are the ones that walked away from those opportunities, the ones that said, no, no, I'm not comfortable. And discomfort means bad. And discomfort does not mean bad. It means it's something you haven't done. And that's all it means. And I did not realize it, but you put it really well. The client saw something in me and wanted that. I had not seen that in me. I thought I'm a musician. They saw me as a creative person who they could trust. That's really what I was. And I thought that I would always miss not being in a band. I thought, oh boy, this is going to be terrible. I'm not going to be able to write songs. Well, first of all, I could write songs if I wanted to, but what occurred to me was what I loved was not specifically music. I loved being creative. I
Mhm.
love solving things that had never been solved before or creating things that had never been in existence. And I was able to do that.
Yeah, it's so great when you can take that skill set and that desire you have for being able to create new things and use it in a new way. Something that at first you might not have thought was the right way or thought that that was the path, but now you can see, and I think it is a perfect fit, right? You like creating new things, trying, exploring, and what better way to do that with marketing and branding because that's where you can really see the impact that it has, which is really what you were doing, right? As you were out there and using your band to really see what resonates with people.
Right. And that's I think one of the messages that I love to share, which is look at what you do. This is all about differentiation. Look at what you do that people respond well to. And you know
Mhm.
what? Maybe you're good at that. Maybe you should do more of that. Maybe you ought to have confidence in yourself instead of denigrating yourself or thinking, yeah, everybody else does that.
Yes, absolutely. That is such a good message. And I want you guys to listen to it again, right? What is it that people say about you that's going to help differentiate, but also that they see something in you that you may not see in yourself? I think, this was very similar experience for me. I started off as a leadership and career coach after a 20-year career in corporate leadership. And it wasn't until a few years into my business, people started coming to me saying, how did you do it? Right? How did you go from being a vice president, Fortune 100 company to starting your own business? And it was finally my coach who came to me and she's like, would you just go teach these people how to do it? And I was like, oh, okay, maybe, and then it was still the resistance, right? Like, should I make this change? Is that going to work? But it was actually taking that leap and saying, yes, like I understand the struggles they just went through. And now I can help them to do that faster, do it easier because I can guide them through that. And so when you're thinking about all of those things that make you who you are, make you good at what you do, that's kind of what differentiates you. So tell us a little bit more about you've worked with some incredible brands, Harley Davidson, Macallan, there's so many more. And what's been some of the key lessons as you've been working with these organizations to really help them differentiate and get their brand out there?
Well, this is a lesson that applies to every single one of us because these wonderful brands, Harley is over 120 years old. Macallan's a, 200-year-old company.
Mhm.
It's very easy to not see what you do well, to not just take it for granted. You just no longer even see it. And you walk by it every day. And what we try to help all companies of all sizes is to step back. And we call it a technical immersion, but step back and look at what you are creating or producing. It could be a service, it could be a technology, it could be a product. And identify what it is that you are doing or paying for or going extra steps for to make it the way you're making it. And what will happen is, if you can do it, and that's what my company ends up being pulled in to go do, that's why they hire us, but we will find certain efforts that are going on within a company and we'll go, why do you go to these extra steps? And they go, well, that's just us being us. And we go, okay, but why are you doing it? Well, because it improves whatever. Do your competitors do it? And Tami, this is very common. They normally go, I don't know what my competitors do. I assume they do. Well, maybe they don't. And the whole point is you're doing something that's unique. You're taking an extra step. You're paying for a little bit more for this one ingredient in your bread. It could be no matter whatever it is. You got to stop and say, wait a minute. That is a differentiator. Now, the other thing we also do in this process of ours, because we have a process that is differentiated, it's 5 steps. It's called brand re-engineering, where we do not create the brand, we discover it. We discover what you're doing. I do not come in and create your brand out of nothing. I'm more of a discoverer that says, hold on a minute, look at this. What do you think of this? But we also talk to customers of our clients. We talk to employees. We talk to their partners, suppliers, et cetera. And we ask them this question. So everybody in your audience can use this question with your customers. And that is, I will ask them, what should our client not change? What do you want them to never, ever, ever change? And what happens is you start to hear the same 1 or 2 things from customers, employees, and all of a sudden you identify out of the blue sometimes, wait a minute, you're doing these 2 things. Your customers and your employees love it. You cannot change it. And here's why this is important, Tami. All the people in your audience, including you and me, are entrepreneurial. We're willing to go change anything. We're ready to go. We have to realize sometimes go out there and change it is not the right idea. Sometimes the right idea is go out there, discover it, and honor it, protect it, celebrate it, make sure people know it, make sure the people that are part of your company realize we will never change this, because that's probably why they came to work for you. So it's a very exciting experience, but it applies to whether it's Macallan Scotch or Harley-Davidson or a 1 or 2 person company.
Yes, so true. And I love how you shared it's that thing that they have been doing. They probably take it for granted, right? And really highlighting that area where people don't think it is that thing that's going to set them apart because they just do it. And it's so true with like different organizations and companies. The thing that makes you so incredibly different and unique is that thing that to you, it just seems like it's a no-brainer. It's like the process that you do that makes it easy, the way that you do something that you think everyone does it because it just to you comes natural. And those are the things that help set it apart. So I want to hear, like, is there like one story you can share with us where when you did this process, it was a huge aha moment for the organization and what came out of it?
Yeah, I'll give an example. We work with a company that produces what they call man lid or manhole covers for stainless steel trailers. So now you might go, okay, that sounds boring. There are a lot of companies out there that do that kind of work. I find it very interesting. So I talked with their head engineer, who was one of the leaders of the company, a family member of the business. And I said, tell me about this new manhole or man lid cover you've created for this stainless steel trailer. And he said, yeah, we put millions of dollars into it, lots of engineering, and we created it so that there's a latch that is pressure related, meaning if there's a volatile, flammable liquid or product inside that trailer, if you try to open up that man lid, it could open up and explode in your face. But we have a latch that will activate if there's too much pressure inside. So it will save lives. So here's an example. I said, that's great. I said, do you charge more for it? He goes, no, we don't. I said, okay, does your competition have this? He goes, no, we're the only people. I said, okay, do you market it or advertise it? He goes, well, no, I'm an engineer. I assume everybody ought to know this. I mean, why would you buy this if you didn't know this? I said, okay. I said, now, you're not charging for it. You're not advertising it. What did you name this product, this latch that saves lives? And he stopped for a minute and he goes, we just call it latch. And I said, you know, you think about it, we name our children. We don't have child 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have children with their names. We have stories behind why we named them this. You have a latch that saves lives. You're not charging extra for it. You need to share that. And he said, well, we don't like the brag here. I said, it's not bragging if it's the truth. So as an example, they went forward to not only market that, but here's the thing I love the most. They celebrated it with their employees. They said, let's go through what we're doing with this amazing innovation. And I want all of you to know the roles that you have played in it. Some of you helped design it. Some of you have helped manufacture it. Some of you have helped explain it to customers. You're all playing a role. We are actually helping to save lives, all of us. Let's celebrate this. So that's an example. You're doing something great. It's right there in front of you. It's part of why you do what you do. It's part of why your employees are there. It's also part of why your customers will go to you because they think you care and they think you're smart. So let's share that.
Yes, go out and share it. So I'm going to challenge all of you listening that, like, what is that thing for you that people you just take for granted, that people come to you for, that they're like, this is that kind of glue that holds it all together, that pulls them to you in a way. So start thinking about, what is that for you? That is so good. I think that when we're trying to build something and people are putting things out there, you're right. It's like, okay, what's the next thing? I got to go do that.
Right.
And I love that you had them come back and celebrate it. And they shared it with their entire community and celebrated everyone that was involved, and not just, oh, we did that, now we got to move on, because that's what so many companies do. It's like, okay, yes, we've accomplished that, now what's the next thing? And so it's great that they had you there to come in and like take a look at this and really understand what differentiates them, and then how do they not just use it and share it, but how do they get even their teams to buy in and really appreciate them for what they do.
Yeah, and I think one thing to help the audience is this. Do not confuse differentiation with superiority. So you might be saying, well, I do this and that different, but there are people out there, they do a great job too, so I'm not really special. No, 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 no. No, that's wrong. You mentioned Harley-Davidson. They have a phenomenal bike, and we've been honored to be a partner with them for over a decade. But they are the first to say, look, we do not have the perfect product. We're always trying to improve it. And we also have some very formidable competitors. Mm-hmm. So they're the first to say that. Now, they also are the first to say, now, nobody has a more beautiful bike with a better design, with a better sound, that thunder, and nobody has a better owners group, Harley owner group, which is called HOG, than we do. We are not just a motorcycle. We are a brother and sisterhood that you join. But the point I'm making to everybody here is you're doing something that is unique. It's the way you do it. It's why certain customers come to you. Celebrate it, promote it, identify it, name it, hold on to it. That is who you are. Somebody else does it a different way. That's fine. I do that with my brand re-engineering. We have 5 steps. I mentioned we go in and we have a technical immersion. Nobody in the world has that step. Nobody. Now, what I also say is we have 5 steps. 2 of them, nobody else does. But the other 3, everybody does. And if you don't think you need someone to come in and identify what makes you unique, and you think you already have it figured out, we're probably not the right company, because we're going to start at square one and we're going to say, okay, what should you do that you should never, ever change? What should you realize that you're doing that is unique and different? And we're going to find those things out. If you as a customer say, no, 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 we have that figured out. We just want a logo. My company's not the best company for you. And I think we have to look at that. So it's not like everything you have to do that's different is perfect or the best. It is just the approach you take. And there are customers, obviously, who find it very, very positive.
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you guys are taking notes and writing these questions down to go back and ask yourself, because this is so critical. Now, Barry, you've done so much. You've worked with some great brands. You've gotten your book launched. What's an OMG moment you're hoping to create in this next coming year? What's coming for you?
Okay, well, my goal is to inspire 1 million people with the message in my book. That's the OMG goal. And I look at it like this. It's not selling 1 million books. It's inspiring people one person at a time, or it could be a leader who represents 16,000 people to identify their uniqueness, celebrate it with their people, honor it. And that's my goal. I'm keeping track of it. I'm looking at the clients I'm working with and the companies that have reached out, and universities across the world. Cambridge University in England just reached out. Columbia University reached out. Booth School of Business in Chicago reached out. They want to get copies of the book and they want to go show it to their students. Any way to spread this very positive message is my OMG moment.
I love that. So let us help you spread this here. How can people get their hands on it?
Well, there are several ways you can do it. I do have a gift for the audience, in our podcast world. If you go to my website, which is barrylabove.com, so it's my name.com, you can go to the book section and you'll see the power of differentiation. And you have two options. We can send you a free PDF of it. Just give us your email. Or you can order a hardcover and we will send the hardcover for shipping and handling. It's a $35 book where I think shipping and handling right now is $7.50. So we'll send that out to you. The other thing you can do is go to Amazon, order it if you have Prime, it's delivered the next day. So one way or another, you can get the book, and you can also go to my website. My company website is labove.com, or visit me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to help anybody.
Awesome. Make sure you are going and connecting with Barry and you are grabbing that book. Go out there. We'll have all the links in the show notes for you. It has been a pleasure having you on, Barry. Is there any last thoughts, items you want to leave, little tips for the audience today?
Everybody has a differentiation, whether you're a 1 person or 40,000 person company. You have it, discover it, honor it, and celebrate it.
Yes, get out there. I mean, this show is all about helping you as you are growing and scaling your businesses. And this is just one more expert we brought on here, Barry, that I hope you guys understand the value you just got out of this. Go out and differentiate yourself, understand what it takes to make yourself stand out. But it's not about trying to be better, as Barry said, like trying to upscale everyone else. It's about knowing who you are and how you differentiate yourself from a genuine place. And what do your customers want? What would they never want you to get rid of? And how are you going to get more of that out there for others to see? So thank you for joining us today. We will see you next week on the Entrepreneurs Creating OMG Moments.